this time of the year, we should have, with all sincerity, be wishing Nigerians across the country compliments of the season, while urging them to go into the new year with renewed hope and vigor. But as you know, we are unable to do that because of the fate of the people of Zamfara and other places who have suffered death and destruction. In other places where security challenges are faced, the people at least have hope, given the improvement that has been reported in their situation, but no such hope for Zamfara State and environs. The turn of events in Zamfara State is as troubling as it is baffling. Here is a state that was so peaceful it was said to becoming a replacement economic hub for the country that was lost in Borno State axis, where farming and fishing in the Lake Chad Basin have been disrupted by terrorist activities. Today, the same Zamfara State has metamorphosed into a killing field whose unknown killers are now on rampage. We, of course, acknowledge that the state in the past had occasional incidents of cattle rustling and robberies like any other part of the country or even other countries of the world. But the state graduating to banditry on an industrial scale was quite a surprise. But information at our disposal has pointed out that the upsurge in killings in Zamfara have everything to do with the 2019 general elections. There is no point dilly-dallying about what we've found out. The upsurge in banditry is politically masterminded by the Zamfara State Governor, Abdulaziz Yari, because the governor, unfortunately, is supported by some all-progressive Congress members in his camp. These elements who lost out in the primaries are embittered that they are unable to get tickets as candidates. It is no coincidence that bandits have gone on killing spree since they lost out. The Save Nigeria coalition had in the past condemned this kind of behavior in the Northeast, where politicians used the cover of Boko Haram attacks to settle scores. We had also condemned similar situations where the governor of a state in the north-central part of the country set up militias to kill his own citizens and blame it on other ethnic groups because he wanted to create a sense of insecurity in his state so that he can settle political scores as well as cover his theft of state funds. In all instances where politicians created or exploited killer groups to settle scores, the situation later ran out of hand. Too many lives are lost and countless resources are expended to bring the situation under control. Nigerians will therefore not tolerate a situation where politicians, irrespective of whether they lost their primary elections or not, release killers in the guise of bandits to create another security threat for the country. Our coalition would ensure that anyone that fails to hit this timely counsel and is later indicted will be dragged before all courts possible on earth. Our demand to Governor Yari and his supporters in the APC is unequivocal. They need to respect the sanctity of life and call off the killers they have contracted to cause mayhem in Zamfara State without further delay. They must also publicly renounce violence in any guise, in addition to distancing themselves from acts that amount to endorsing violence as the answer whenever the permutation does not favor them. The governors of the neighboring states should continue to do their best to reassure Nigerians that they are not part of the political syndicate that is encouraging bandits to launch attacks against communities in the area. We urge the federal government to step into the situation before it gets out of hand. While the state governor presently enjoys immunity, his aides that do not enjoy immunity and found to be complicit in the banditry-related killings in the state must be shown the full wrath of the law. Again, we warn that we must not have another Boko Haram in the country before steps are taken to bring those behind the carnage in Zamfara to book. We appeal to the international community to call Governor Yari and his associates in the APC to order before it is too late. They must impress it on the federal government that it owes the responsibility of providing security to citizens and that it must live up to this task. The federal government must not allow consideration for their APC membership to slow down the law from running its full course. It is important that the country makes an example of persons indicted of sponsoring violence against its report. What is Okoko?